Hi everyone, I'm Zach, and I like movies, and I'm here to talk about the new Ariel Aster movie, Eddington. This is the fourth movie from the one and only Ariel Aster, one of the most exciting, interesting, and most talked about directors to come out in the last 10 years, whether it's with his debut, what is now a modern horror classic, Hereditary, or his sunny summer cold horror follow-up, Midsommar. He's a director that is very intrigued and interested and familiar with the anxious, the fearful, and the unpredictable. He's also a director that I haven't really clicked with. I've always feel like I'm at a bit of a remove from Aster. It always feels like I'm picking up what he's putting down, even if his stories just sort of leave me feeling a little unsatisfied. It's kind of why I avoided his last movie, Beau is Afraid. His anxiety-ridden 3-hour epic with Joaquin Phoenix. It just seemed like a lot. But you know what else is a lot? This movie, Eddington. It is a movie that is set set in the fictional Texas town of Eddington, and is set in the summer of 2020, and it evokes all the very familiar and uncomfortable memories and images of that time. It digs into, like I said, this movie's a lot. It kind of tries to get its arms around just about every controversial topic about, that year that it can get its hands on, whether it's like COVID policies and mask mandates, the performativeness of political activists, the conspiracism, the doom scrolling, the social anxiety. That also gets into the Black Lives Matter protesting and the cringe ways we all behave during that. But sorry, I've been at this a while. And it's doing a lot, and certainly is definitely taking its pot shots at many sides. But and it's a movie that seems by design to piss off as many people as possible. But I'm not one of them. I kind of love this movie. And like getting away from this movie a little further and thinking about it, I'm really kind of loving it more and more. The more I've sat with it and stewed with it, and I do mean stew. And speaking of, this is a movie that really sits with that. This is what it's mainly about is about our lead sheriff, who's played by Joaquin Phoenix. He is sort of taking a stand over these mask mandates, and it's against the mayor, Ted Garcia, played by Pedro Pascal, who was running for re-election, and Sheriff Joe, he decides to run for mayor himself, and that's sort of the snowball that kicks starts to build up at this thing. But the portrait that this movie paints with its setting and the climate that it is stewing in is really evocative. Like, this is a movie that really makes you uncomfortable. It feels like a good half of its 2.5-hour runtime. It stews in the discomfort, the frustration of, just so much clear memories. Like, I think if there's any point of reference I could think of, it's like Ariel Aster is doing making this movie not about the facts of the time, but really the feelings of the time. And say if you were to make a movie about the 9/11 era, it's not. It wouldn't be a movie about the facts of the matter. He's doing more of the feelings of the time. Like, I have very vivid memories of how it felt to live in the post 9/11 period, about everyone just lost their goddamn minds. And here it's so here it's so evocative in the way that that Ari Aster stages so many scenes of like, hey, wasn't it crazy how we, hey, how it's just, it's very uncomfortable, and it's just sort of like repainting these very uncomfortable truths about how we all acted about like with masking and stuff, and how further and further people just sort of divided and sought community in their own ways, whether it's through political activism or one camp, and conspiracism and radicalization in another. But I don't think it's really fair to call this really an enlightened centrist movie like I have seen. I've also seen some call this like irresponsible, which I feel like that's kind of missing the forest for the trees. Like on paper, this would be like kind of like, oh, it's just dealing a bunch of pot shots, like it's doing like a South Park episode or something. We're like, oh, both sides stupid. But like, I think it's more not really doing that. It does take its shots, but like not in a way that's like a sort of like even if it's being satirical about, you know, how both political sides acted and still behave. It's more I think trying to engender empathy into not just like where these people go, but like how they get, sort of why they get there. And it's really, I think, showing that like it's showing this town of characters and people who oftentimes don't even like complete any coherent political ideology anywhere. Like the most you might get is like Joe's mother-in-law just sort of like just rambling on and on in the background about like some crazy like online conspiracy theories she's heard about COVID and like Anthony and like Dr. Fauci and shit like that. But like it's mostly done in like this very Robert Altman style, just overlapping dialogue where like she's there, but like it's not like you're not really, it's like she's there and you can't really ignore her, but she's also not really being paid attention to at any given time. And also like one of the big things it points to, it's one thing it really digs into, and I think it's so very clear and sharp about, is that it digs into that people like, not just like that people get sort of radicalized in search of like community and search of personal validation. It's mostly like people go through, like the characters go through, just sort of follow through in these things I'm sort of losing my voice. Sorry. These people like go into these like ventures through like conspiracism and political activism, through just personal petty grievances. Like sure Joe is like asthmatic and he might have a point about COVID policies that's turning neighbor against neighbor, but the only reason for his anti-mask crusade and his bid for mayor is because he already had personal beef with Ted Garcia in the first place. And you get some really great tense scenes between him and Pedro, between Phoenix and Pascal. So much that I really wish there was like more scenes of the two of them together. Like there's one really great scene where like it's tense, but it's also really funny because like there's a song choice in here. You would not guess in a million years what it is, but just it's chef's kiss, so perfect, so funny. And like Joe keeps going on this sort of like takes this again sort of not just takes a stand, but like carries on further with it because he feels emasculated. He feels like he feels distanced from his wife, played by Emma Stone, who's like really QAnon susceptible. Is really susceptible to like online cults like QAnon. That's sort of embodied by this like conspiracy theorist YouTuber played by Austin Butler, who's not really in the show, who's not really in the movie a lot, but like you do sort of feel how his presence sort of leaves an influence on Emma Stone's character, and I also going back to the centrism, I don't think it does of course take its shots at liberals, but I wouldn't say it's like centrist to point out that there are liberals that are absolutely performative, activists, and hypocrites. Like I've certainly have had experience with people like them. Like, sorry, I've been talking a while. Mayor Pedro Pascal is corrupt and kind of an asshole, but it's not because he's sanctimonious or firm on mask mandates. It's because he's working on a deal with this AI to build this AI data center outside of town that's called Solid Gold Magikarp. Like, beautifully stupid name for a thing that will ruin people's lives. I think it's a movie. I think that's interesting. I think it's not really like, and again, it is very anti-right wing in the ways that counts. But like like you gotta kind of point out that like, yeah, a lot of there are a lot of like, especially when it gets into these scenes with like the Black Lives Matter protests, it does point out that like, yeah, a lot of like the very loud, some of the louder ones were opportunists in their own way. They were sanctimonious. They were cringy. Like, yeah, your heart, like, and I do, like, it's not like their heart isn't in the right place, but like they go about it in such cringy and like again cringy ways. Like, again, posting a black screen on your Insta isn't activism. Sorry, but I think, but like it turned like that also digs into how with Joe, like with what Joe does with his own sort of his own political venture for mayor. There's a it sort of backs up the other way. Like there's a subplot with the teenage boy who basically tries to become the wokest white boy to ever live, but mostly because he wants to like fit in and just get with the girl he likes, like, and just Googling Angela Davis wasn't going to cut it. Right? And I think that does say something, that like if there is and I think that is ultimately the ones who get out on top, the ones who have sort of not the ones that like have a certain ideology, like have either an A or B ideology, but like the ones who like are more just opportunistic. If they aren't really centered in themselves. If they don't really have any like you see this best with Joe. Like Joe is so pathetic and opportunistic and will just like latch on to like anything that will just do something to like fix this like hole that is just right this some personal wrong that has happened to him, whether it's because like Pedro Pascal's character makes him feel like less of a man, or he's frustrated at home and stuff. But like I think that's something that's very true to the era. A lot of it's not like it's sort of like getting to the core human emotions that real human like motivating spark that ignites all of this, and all of the things outside of the things outside of that spark in your environment, in your community, in the political world, in the online digital world that you are like seeing yourself, the rabbit holes you fall down through is something that's I think very true. I think even I think in that way, I think this is a movie that's sort of asking for empathy, even for characters who kind of don't deserve it. Like with Joe. Like Joe is a despicable person, but but I get where a lot of he is coming from, and Joaquin Phoenix's performance, I think, is this is honestly one of the best he's been in a while. He's the way that he carries himself and with this sort of shaky confidence every time that he like speaks and try to stand up for himself. I also love the way that how since he's asthmatic, I love the way that Joaquin has uses his breath, especially in later scenes. And I think every performance, including Phoenix, was fantastic. Everyone felt very lived in. It felt very like a. Sorry, I'm drinking water so much. My voice is dying. And I would say that I also think that I do think maybe some actors are a little underused. Like, I do wish we got more than just the one-ish scene of Austin Butler. And Emma Stone does good stuff, but it also feels like maybe she could have. It also feels like maybe her character could have been maybe somebody else. And I would say it is a movie that does certainly feel its length. When when you spend so long just simmering in that discomfort, it's so you do, and as things start to boil over, you sort of wonder where, as much as I am enjoying wondering where it's going to go, I am kind of thinking maybe we could have gotten here a little quicker. But and honestly, I have to say, Ari Aster really delivered again in terms of the filmmaking. It seems like he was having a blast doing some of this stuff, especially the way that he would stage some of these very tense oneers, or how he'll go from take on a tripod mounted master shot and sort of gradually creep in with a zoom and sort of single out a character into a more even more uncomfortable medium shot. It's really good. There's really good stuff here. And I also have to say, by the end, that this movie really does take some turns in you can almost time it every 30 minutes or so, how they'll be sort of try to switch up where it's going and what it's doing. And by the time we get to the end, it feels like it's almost like complete madness is set in. Ari Aster described this as a Western with cameras instead of guns, but the guns do come out, and when they do, oh boy, wow. Really makes me want to see what a action thriller would more like surrealist action thriller would look like from Ari Aster, because he's doing this. The shootouts he's doing in this, they remind me a lot of what Bill Hader was doing with Barry. A lot of really clean, very almost minimalist master shots, but such great attention to the sound design. The sound design in this movie throughout just really pops. I think on the whole, this movie keeps giving me a lot to think about. I actually looked into some other reviews, and I really liked what this YouTuber Lucas Blue was saying about it. If you haven't, you really should watch that if you've seen Eddington yourself. And I think that this is going to be a movie that I'm really going to keep thinking about. I'm not sure if I'm ready to call it a masterpiece, not yet at least. But I think after, I don't know, a rewatch or two, I think this is probably the Ari Aster movie that's going to grow on me more and more. And I'm feeling kind of a strong 7 to a light 8. I think this will probably get better than that. This is a grower, I think. And kind of liked it. It's definitely not going to be for everybody, but give it a shot. I think you'll definitely come away with a lot to talk about. And I think I'll leave it at that. Definitely a movie not to miss. And I think that's it. I'm Zach. I like movies. I have a lot more movies to watch because watching movies is life, and movies are good, and life is good. Well, life isn't good, but it can always get better, and movies help make it better. And I think I'll see you guys tomorrow, next time, and I hope you take care of yourselves.